Well, it's the 59th independence anniversary. Right now, we'll turn our attention to the security challenges facing Nigeria and social justice. To discuss this, we have in the studio the Director General, International Institute of Professional Security, Tony Ufoyetan, and lawyer Osa Director to talk about social justice. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
On the special edition.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Happy Independence.
Happy Independence.
Same to you.
All right, I'll come to you now, Tony. You are an expert when we talk security. Can Nigeria boast of a secured country in its 59 years of being an independent nation?
Well, it depends on the context we are looking at a secured nation. If we look at the word nation, the answer is yes. If we look at the occupants of the nation, the answer is no. Now, the nation has been able to survive a lot of challenges to disintegrate into different compartments within the past 59 years. And to that extent, I think security has been able to achieve the central purpose of national unity. Now, but to the extent of the occupants, which are the citizens, you and I, the truth is that we are not there. In as much as we concede to the fact that government in its own wisdom had tried its best possible. Unfortunately, we don't seem to have leaders, especially in the security field and even at the political level, that understand what it means to secure the people. Now, and because of the intrusion, of very rude intrusion too, of politics and religion into security, it has bastardized the true tenet of security. And that is why you see that crimes and criminality strives higher. Now, if you go to other crimes, what we consider as being valuable are inconsequential in other crimes. Now, what also makes crimes strive in Nigeria, right from the word go, is basically because there has not been major consequences. You see, when you talk about the culture of impunity, that word culture itself is too entrenching in a nation. Because when you talk about culture, you are talking about something that is already endemic, you know, already part and parcel. Yeah. Now look at it from this angle. A young boy commits a crime, only to discover that his father is a minister, a governor, a military general, and the like. The next 2-3 days, he's out of the hook. Another boy commits same crime or lesser crime. He is used as the guinea pig, as the scapegoat. In a society where you are talking about development and security. Now, if you have such culture, there is no way that nation will develop. All right. There is no way that nation will move forward. So to that extent, you know, I said yes, and I said no.
I said no, okay. If I have to derive it from what Tony has said, Osa, let me come to you on this. A lot of persons have said that the challenges we have, from Boko Haram to banditry to herdsmen to kidnapping and robbery and all of that, are all self-inflicted. Would you agree with that?
Yes, to a large extent. But before I continue, I want to point out that the Constitution is very clear. Section 14, subsection 2B, the Constitution says that the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. Has that been the purpose of all the several governments we had in Nigeria? No. And now, talking about self-inflicted insecurity challenges, like my colleague had earlier stated, when you have a situation where there are no consequences for committing crime, then you are encouraging the committer of crimes. And to the extent that we allow the front lines of ethnicity and religion to be the major drivers of our government or governmental policies and focus, then we are in a cesspool of underdevelopment, which has created a situation where you have Boko Haram, you have Niger Delta militancy, and all these things are not unrelated to the pervasive level of social injustices and inequity in the society. When there is endemic and entrenched poverty, people must look for alternative ways to survive. If government cannot guarantee the security of people, cannot guarantee the welfare of the people, they have to look for alternative means to break or breach what you might call the norms of society in order to survive, because you have to be alive to be, you know, to project or actualize your ambition. And if you now have a government that is rudderless, that is visionless, that does not pursue its set agenda with a sense of equity, fairness, justice, openness, and transparency, you are bound to have this kind of self-inflicted security challenges that we have in Nigeria.
Meanwhile, in the studio, we have our guests here. Tony Ofoyeton is here with us, and USA director is here. We've been talking about the Nigerian history from the perspective of security. Now, Tony, let me come to you on this. The point there is, when Nigerian contingents go to any function on the African continent or anywhere in the world, they come back with medals, medals upon medals. Tells you that the Nigerian professional security agent is not lacking when it comes to professional, or lacking when it comes to awareness, lacking when it comes to discipline. But when they come back home, it's a total different ball game altogether. What's the missing link here?
One of the things that is defective, especially in terms of our orientation in the nation, is the idea that I am an Igbo man, I'm a Yoruba man, I'm an Hausa man, I'm from Niger Delta. I'll give you another example. When you meet yourselves in the airport outside the country, what comes to your mind first is, this is a Nigerian.
Exactly.
You don't even think whether it's an Igbo man, an Hausa man, and the like. Now, that is why some of us will advocate that, look, tell me the relevance of state of origin in any form you feel in this country. Tell me the relevance of religion in any form you feel in this country. An American is an American. A Briton is a Briton. A Frenchman is a Frenchman. I'm not sure of any, I've never seen any Frenchman that will tell you that I'm from X and Z state. It doesn't work
In fact,
like
we
that.
see Rwanda recently that deliberately abolished the
Thank
issue
you
of
very
state
much.
of origin and
You
tribe.
see, when they go outside Nigeria, the same set of people, immediately they leave Nigeria, that orientation is knocked off their brain. They see themselves as from the same country, not from different tribes, not from different religions. You will see them, policemen, military, army, and the like, eating together in the same plates, playing together, fighting together, working together, strategizing together. Now look at it. Immediately they come back right from that airport. Everybody is to your tent, O Israel. The problem is not with the people. The problem is with the system. The system has been able to accommodate the culture of ethnicity, religion, and it has introduced the highest level of nepotism in the world. Nigeria has the highest level of nepotism. And that is why, as you are, you want to bid for a job, you want to look for a contract, you are going somewhere, the first thing you tell is, my brother, you know you are my brother, we are from the same place. So now, that tells you that something is wrong, because this now becomes a platform upon which you get goodwill, you get favor from a fellow Nigerian. If you are not an Hausa man is not ready to help you. If you are not a Yoruba man is not ready to help you. But when we move outside the shores of Nigeria, because that is not their orientation then, you are bound to do what? To abide. And you now see that it's working. So if you ask me, I will tell you that I'm looking for a situation where there will be a major revolution in our system. Don't be afraid.
The word revolution?
Don't worry, don't be afraid, don't be afraid. No, but you see, revolution is a major change of system. Now, until you have that true revolution, where certain drastic decisions are taken at the national level that may not be popular at a short run, may not be acceptable to those that are the bourgeois, those that are making the nation, it may not be popular
But
to them.
can't we change the system and change our style without necessarily...
The we that you are talking about is not you and I. It is PMB and Oshibaju and the National Assembly. It's not you, the best you and I can do is to bring it to their consciousness. We can't take that decision. They have the everything it takes to take that decision.
Also, don't the people have a role to play at ensuring that these issues that he has mentioned also come to bear?
Yeah, certainly people have a role to play. But I know the point is coming from. You see, you talk of leadership, you talk of followership. And now, they say the people deserve the kind of leaders they get. In essence, if you have lack of qualitative followership, a conscious and consensus followership, you are bound to have a bankrupt leadership that will do whatever they like, knowing that the people will not react. You know, like people keep saying, in Nigeria today, we are where we are because Nigerians have not taken their destiny in their own hands. Like Murtala Muhammad said in one of his speeches to the Organization of African Unity, as was then known, that our future, our destiny is in our hands to make or mark.
So what would it take for Nigerians to take...
And that was part of what cost his life.
What would it take for Nigerians to take their destiny in their hands? 59 years. We need to move forward.
Yeah, I think it's a shame that our 59 years, we are still crawling. You know, we are told like being baby fed. But you see, this thing is systemic. We have the offense of colonialism. And then we have the self-inflicted prejudices established by our national leaders, those who fought for independence and gained ascendancy to power immediately after independence. Don't forget, just like we have in the case of June 12, that it is being argued, and it has not been said, there's no contrary view to that, that those who actually fought for Nigerian independence were not the people who inherited the political leadership of Nigeria. The same way, those pro-democracy activists who fought for the second independence of Nigeria, a la June 12 revolution, we are also not the people who have inherited the so-called civilian regime we have now. I'm not talking of democracy, because what we have perpetually now is that we are still battling from transition from military rule rather than a transition to democracy. Okay. You know, so we need education of the people. What is the quality of education of the people? Like I always tell people, before a society can develop, you must have trained lawyers who are said to be referred to as society-conscious lawyers. Because the judiciary has a big role to play in interpreting the law, in setting precedent, you know. So, but when you have a judiciary that is sucked in to the executive, more or less an extension of the executive, more or less perpetuating law to extend the dominance of the ruling elite and undermining the privileges and rights of the governed, then you are bound to perpetuate a system that does not promote development.
All right, Tony, before we go, we are where we are already with all the challenges that we are talking about and we have been analyzing. If we have to look forward now to say, okay, let us strategize, let us come up with something new that will take us away from where we are to somewhere that we need to be. What will those strategies be?
I think one of the major challenges we will face and we have to conquer is international intrusion and interference in our domestic affairs. And when I say international intrusion and interference, I chose my words. Intrusion to the extent that, there are many at times that they are not invited, but they come in because of their vested interest. And interference because that interest has to be sustained. Now, he made mention of something which is just absolutely right. Independence was fought for by people that had vision, that knew where they wanted the nation to go. Deliberately, when it was time to hand over, they handed over to stooges that were not the major architect of the concept of Nigerian independence. When June 12 came on board, like he rightly said too, if you look at what happened within June 12, it was also international influence that led to the upcoming of the same old set to take over. Now, if you look at our fight against terrorism in this country, you would have seen that severally international organizations in the name of NGOs had been fingered severally as dropping arms, as dropping medicals in the camp of the adversary. Awolowo said that you cannot feed my enemy and expect him to be you to be my friend. Now, if you look at it from that perspective, now what the international community has also done is this. Cleverly had used several treaties to tie the nations. One of such treaties at times that we are not even conscious of is the Treaty on Climate Change, for example. Climate change. Now, for a developing country, what is your business with climate change? If you look at it contextually, you don't have industries. You don't have mega manufacturing or research centers. But the implication is this. Anytime you decide to do it, that law comes in place to say that you are polluting the environment. Now, if you look at what Donald Trump, for example, is saying, I don't believe in all those. He knows what he's saying. Now, what am I saying? I'm not saying that there are no climate challenges and the like. No. But you see, you have to look at every treaty, laws, related to your own domestic affairs.
And your peculiarity.
And your peculiarity.
Yeah.
And now, in terms of your vision, where are you going? How will this affect you? This war court, for example, you look at these are things that the international community has used a lot to tie nations that they think should. So that is one area that government had to really look at.
Okay. We have to leave it here now. Tony Ofeoto, thank you so much for coming on the program, and thanks for your insight. Also, our director, thank you very much for your insight as well.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure being here.
Right.